Hello friends, how's it going? Welcome to Forest Park. I did a little bit of an intro just now, just talking about Forest Park and how, I don't know, just it feels like a very magical place. Like, I can still hear the traffic on the road. Like, the road is literally right there. And also, they are at this very moment re-cementing, I guess, the sidewalk, so I can hear that too. Hopefully you can't though. That's my only hope. So, I'm out in the woods somewhat and I'm by a body of water. I just saw a skunk. I'm pretty sure I'm going to include that here in this video so you can see. He was very polite, except for when he charged at me. But I mean, he was scared, so I can understand that. I made sure to move out of his way so he wouldn't be frightened any more than he seemed to be. So yes, if he comes back around and I get really quiet and run away, then you know who's around me. There's lots of squirrels here too, and like I said, a very magical place. And last autumn I actually had the chance to go up to Cold Springs and I did a hike there, and it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful there. I actually made a video about it too, so if you want to watch that video, link in the description. I'm from Arizona, so the leaves don't change as dramatically as they do here, so I had seen autumns before here obviously, but upstate it was just wow. It was so beautiful, and I really wish I had a chance to go back up this autumn and go see it, but I didn't really have any time this time around. This is my second time in Forest Park, and I definitely want to come here in the winter too, and like a few more times here this autumn. It's just been really nice to just get out here and enjoy my time here. This video is going to be very chill. I just wanted to share with you just like a few things that I like to do that adds more character, more whimsy to my life, and I think that during this season it can be really easy to fall into a routine of just going to work, coming home, scrolling on your phone, just not really spending your time how you want to. At least that's really what happens for me. It can be hard for me to find happiness in the winter. Daylight savings has happened already, of course, and when it did, I just felt a sense of dread. Now I just want to share with you some of those ways that I like to fill my time and keep me from spiraling, essentially. So, here we go. The first thing that I love to do that helps me feel like my life is more whimsical, like it's a fairy tale, is to play pretend. For example, my kitchen is very vertical. Okay, I'm very tall. I'm 5'11". This kitchen is like almost too tall for me. Like, we actually have a step ladder in our kitchen in order for us to reach like the top shelves. And so with that being said, at first I was like, this is so inconvenient, like the fact that I have to use this step ladder in order to reach this large dinner plate. Like, what's going on? As I got into the routine of using the step ladder and living my life in that kitchen, I realized I was like, I'm in an apothecary and I'm reaching for this potion that's on the top shelf. I'm reaching for mugwort. I try to imagine that my kitchen is a magical apothecary. Above our fridge, we have like a huge tea cabinet, and when I reach for that tea cabinet, there's some stuff that's blocking it on top of the fridge, but I kind of like it because I'm like, I'm searching for the perfect tonic to cure my melancholy, to cure this cough I have. I just kind of pretend it's a magical place, because if I decide that it is, then it is. It's an apothecary. When I'm baking, that's when I feel like the whimsy the most, or when I'm making a pot of tea. That's also when I feel the whimsy. Another way is when I'm at work, instead of being a barista, I'm actually in a tavern in the woods, and I'm serving people these pints of mead and a full English breakfast. Like, that makes it so much more fun. And like, it's very small, but I'm somewhere else. Here. It's not like just an escape, but I feel like it provides a lot of comfort and allows you to dream. When you're a child, you learn how to play pretend, and like when you're bored, you have to become more creative. I'm trying not to lose that part of myself. It's a chance really to let your mind wander and allow yourself to imagine. There's like so many ways I could spin it in my head. That brings me to my next point, which is my wardrobe. I have this scarf that's very colorful, and I break it out in the winter, of course. I have put a little hair clip on it, and I have this ring that's like a rose, and it makes me feel like in a I'm in practical magic, or this cloak is a magical cloak, and I have to wear it in this forest because it will protect me. I actually have this one skirt that's brown and it's really long. It's kind of thick. In the fall, winter is when I usually bring this skirt out. And when I wear it, with these boots that I have, I just feel like an explorer, like a 19th century anthropologist. Like when I put that skirt on, I put my boots on, and I got my crossbody bag, I'm just like, wow, I'm going out to forage in the woods. And also I'm an archaeologist. Like playing with your wardrobe and trying to like layer pieces and maybe put things together that you never really thought would go together, and trying to imagine who would you be in that outfit. And when you go out in your day, and maybe you walk a little bit differently when you go out, you are an explorer, you're gonna walk in a different way. You're gonna see the world in a different way when you decide that. That's how I feel in that skirt. So play pretend in your day-to-day life and with your wardrobe. Those are some ways to add whimsy to everyday sort of life. The next thing that I do that adds a little bit more whimsy to my life is having flowers everywhere, or foliage in general. First thing I can think of is I have this hair clip that is shaped like a flower. Lots of pieces in my wardrobe, they have flowers on it, or just some sort of pattern in general. And I love buying flowers, having flowers in my house too. I go for I'll just put some flowers on the screen that I am able to find that are pet friendly. I have a cat, his name is Miso. When you like walk into that room and you're like, wow, there's beautiful flowers in here, and I get to look at them, like I feel so lucky. On top of that, I also have some houseplants that I take care of. I'm not sure what most of them are because they have been gifted to me, but I just have them like in my bedroom. There's a window behind my bed, and it just feels so nice to have some plants next to my head when I'm going to bed, when I'm going to sleep. It feels right. How lucky are we that we get to see such beautiful nature? These plants, they take care of me. Even right now, there's so many plants around me. I'm so lucky to be in the presence of these beautiful things. Next thing I love to do is when I'm journaling. First of all, journaling. Secondly, when I'm journaling, I like to put the location of where I am. So I'll put a little pin, I'll draw one, and then I'll say like the cafe I'm at. For me, it's just like, it's kind of nice to look back at that and be like, oh, that's where I was in that very moment. On top of that, I might even draw something that I find interesting in the room. For example, pretty light fixture, or there's a nice vase of flowers, or my pastry that I got at this cafe. Anything like that, you could add it to your journal. Just do a little doodle and continue your writing. I love adding stickers, washi tape, you name it, honestly. I love adding that to my journal, but sometimes it's nice to just draw something that I see in my space around me, and it also just helps me like remember beautiful moments that happen in my life a bit better. It's a good way to remember you are spending your time the way that you want to, and if you're having a not so great day, you can look back at those things and be like, I am living my life the way that I want to, even if it's not happening right in this very moment. That's kind of what my journal helps me to do sometimes. I forgot to mention that one other reason why I put the location is because I read the Emily Wilde trilogy. I don't know the official name for this series, but the first book is called Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. That doesn't say enough. One of the most whimsical books ever, and she inspired me, Emily Wilde. And so she will put the location, like where she is in that very moment. This book series is written as journal entries. So it's from Emily's perspective. She's writing her journal, and she always puts the location as to where she is in that moment when she's writing. Sometimes I channel her when I'm writing my journal. Oh, it's very windy. Big gust. Lots of lovely birds here. Lots of blue jays. I wonder what they're talking about. On the topic of writing, really love writing letters to my family. As I mentioned earlier, I live in New York, but my family actually lives in Arizona. I'm from Arizona. I oftentimes feel very homesick, very sad to be so far from them. It's definitely hard at times. The point is, it can be very cathartic to write a letter to them. It really gives you a chance to think about what you want to say to that person. Sometimes the letters, they can be just sort of talking about what's going on in your life, but you could also do other things too. You can get creative with it, like just as much as you do with a journal. You can send stickers, you can send your current favorite teas, you can make a list of your favorite books that you've read as of lately. It could be that month or whatever period of time you choose. Or you could also send a book in the mail. You could send a book that you want to buddy read with them. There's so many possibilities. And that gives you even more to talk about in your letter with that person, your thoughts, comments, concerns. Another thing that I recently sent to a few people was word searches. Yes, I have a book of like a bunch of word searches, and I tore out some pages of it, and I also put that in the letter. Yeah, you can get creative with it, especially if you're not able to talk to this person as often as you want on the phone. It's like it brings another level to your relationship. In my opinion, it takes a lot of time and care to sit down, write a letter, whatever it might be. It's a gift. It's just beautiful to take that time, think about that person. And also with letter writing, I feel like sometimes maybe you might say more than I might have in person or on the phone. Like sometimes I can write down more details of things that I noticed, things that made me think of that person. It could be anything that you desire. The point is to just get creative with it. Just enjoy the process of sitting down and not rushing. If you haven't given letter writing a chance, I would highly suggest that you do. Next one is something that I started doing like more recently. When I think of candles, usually I think of the nighttime. Recently, I've been waking up a lot earlier than I usually do. It's been so nice to, when it's still dark, I come out, I light my candle, I start getting ready for the day. Even when I'm like doing my makeup or, just getting ready in front of the mirror, I even just keep the candle by me instead of turning on the light. It feels like a really nice ritual that I have incorporated in my morning that made it a lot easier for me to wake up, and I like really look forward to it. I look forward to making coffee in the morning next to my candle by candlelight. Yeah, it allows for me to have like a slower morning. Even if I have to get ready and be out the door in like an hour and a half, like it makes me feel like I'm having a more intentional, slower morning. Even when I really gotta go. It's been really nice adding that to my life. I also have some lower lighting in my house too. Like I have this huge star, like lantern sort of thing that's in my living room. I light that too. But no big lights. No big lights. Like that's the biggest point I'm trying to stress right now. You don't need that in the morning. It's too much. Another thing too with that, sometimes I turn on some gentle music. I can probably put some playlists in the description. These are the ones that I usually like to listen to in the morning. It helps me feel, like I said, even if I have to go in 30 minutes, I might turn this on, light a candle or two, and just take a second to enjoy my life. All right, so if you like to cook and bake or anything of the sort, sometimes I get into a point where I start like making like the same things like over and over again. A big one for me is probably cookies. I make lots of cookies for some reason, but sometimes it's really nice to branch out and try something new. I'll go into my apothecary kitchen and I will decide I'm gonna make marshmallows. And so recently I made marshmallows from scratch. It actually was so much fun and actually pretty easy, I would say. It was almost like making caramel, I would say, like the way that you have to heat up the sugar on the stovetop. It can be sugar, honey, or maple syrup, whatever you really decide. I'll also put these recipes in the description if you're interested. It's fun to get out of your comfort zone and try and make something that you just feel like you really could not make. There's just some things that you're like, no, there's no way I can do that. Another thing too that I have been making, or I have made this year, is macarons. I made macarons, and I never really thought I could make them because people usually say that they're really hard to make. And this is kind of true. There is a certain technique to it. I attempted it about 3 times before I got it. Sometimes it's good to struggle in a hobby that you really enjoy, So although it really took me a second to figure out and not perfect, but really understand how to make the macaron, it it was such a great experience. I feel like I learned a lot from making those. Another thing too is pavlova. Oh my gosh, pavlova gave me a run for my money. It was so hard to make at first. Like I kept getting, it's kind of similar to macarons, but I kept getting a little bit of the yolk in the batter, and so it messed up everything, and so I had to restart. That kind of goes for macarons as well. They're both kind of fickle in that sort of way. Another thing too, I don't really like tomatoes. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I recently made a cherry tomato jam recipe in the description because oh my gosh, it was so good, so delicious. Like I said, I'm not a very big fan of tomatoes. I will eat them. I like tomato soup. Ketchup is fine, I guess. But I'm just not like the biggest fan. And so I discovered this sort of jam. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and make this. It was so good. It was so good. I put it on a cracker with some cream cheese, a little bit of salami. So good. So with that being said, like it feels very, once again, it feels very much like I'm in my apothecary and I'm learning how to make new serums and whatnot by trying new things. Even in a hobby that you really enjoy to, step out of your comfort zone and try something new. Another thing you can do when you make baked goods is when I have friends over, I usually give them a napkin with their plate, whatever they're eating. Sometimes with these napkins too, I really like to wrap baked goods in them. If I made like some cookies and I want to bring them to a friend, like I'll just wrap them in this very cute cloth, deliver it to them. Or sometimes if I want to take a cookie with me on the go or any sort of baked good I made, some bread, for example. If I wanted to take that on the go with me, like I can just wrap it in my little napkin and it feels magical to do that. I feel like I'm going on a picnic in a secret garden. So yeah, and if you're delivering that to a friend, put a little bow on it and they're just gonna be awestruck. They're gonna love it. And also there's less waste with doing that too. The last thing I'm gonna say is pretty obvious because of our setting right now, is to go out in nature. Enjoy whatever nature you have near. There's so many beautiful things that I have seen in New York that is like such a blessing to have. Like I feel so lucky that I can come to Forest Park. I can go to the Met Cloisters and see the beautiful garden that they have there. There's just a lot of lovely things all around you, and if you have the ability to go out and look at things, look at the birds, look at the leaves changing. In the winter it can be really hard to go out, and it was definitely kind of hard for me to get myself out the door at first, but once I got outside I was just in awe of the changing leaves and the beauty that's around me. Take some time, go outside. I think that's everything that I want to say. I hope that was somewhat concise and somewhat helpful, I guess. These are ways that I love to spend my time, and the way that you spend your time is the way that you spend your life. There's so much to see out there, so don't forget that. I hope that maybe some of these tips help you add a little bit of whimsy to your life and help you to see the world around you a little bit differently. Just know that I am worried about the winter too. This season can be very difficult, so be easy on yourself. Go see the world. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, your night, whenever you're watching this. And yeah, thank you. And bye. Bye for now.